Words in the Chinese news. This is the second video in a series on the how the Chinese press is reporting the terrorist attacks in Paris, comparing it to how some of the English-speaking newspapers are reporting them. So here's the front page of the Chinese news 2 days after the attack. Once again, the president's the first picture. He's front and center. He's in the spotlight. So today is going to be a bit more of a linguistic analysis. So that's it. There's absolutely no negativity whatsoever. The stories in Chinese here are all about the president as well, obviously. Let's have a look at what's happening in the Western or the English-speaking newspapers. So here it is, the New York Times. Once again, a bullet hole, front page, front and center. Not the president, but extreme negativity. And the picture of negativity is backed up by the language. Big words: manhunt, suspect, investigation widens. At least 3 attackers, terrorist attacks. Not a lot of negative language there, but if we go to the right, attackers in Paris did not give anybody a chance. It's a quote, very negative quote. Let's have a look at how the tragic events of the night unfold. So very dramatic language. Watch. And what's the word after watch? Watch this. Shot at concert hall, but dragged to safety. So shot at concert hall, but dragged to safety. Obviously incredibly negative. The next one there, after Paris attacks, familiar fear grips city. So to grip, to hold tightly, yeah, I'm afraid, and this is gripping me. So a real creation of negativity when you look at the front page of the New York Times. Is it any different in England? You've got a different picture there. It's a man called Abdel Salam Salah, who's a suspect. He doesn't look very friendly. Dangerous suspect, attacker hunted. So the face that should be causing you fear here. Deadly assaults, attackers, Kalashnikovs. So you got the word Kalashnikov next to this man. Obviously, if you see someone like that, you're going to be quite afraid. Let's now have a look at Sydney to see if it's any different. Exactly the same. On the left, Australia needs to be ready for terror attacks. Now, this is quite interesting because they're giving advice. You need to take some medicine if you feel sick. Australia, all of Australia, needs to be ready for terror attacks. Certainly true. Terrorist attacks have been underway for quite a while, if we're talking about the recent type. But here we have again, big words, needs to be. There he is, the man in the army camouflage with the machine gun. Australian police, intelligence agencies urged, come on, intelligence agencies, police, you must do this. Prepare for attacks, Paris tragedy. Next one, preachers of hate. Once again, the word attackers. And then after that, 5 ways the world must respond. The world must, need to, must. Lots of very strong commands here. Terrorism distorts our judgment. Very interesting point here. They're saying our judgment, not terrorism distorts, makes unclear. Terrorism distorts your judgment. Terrorism distorts people's judgment. It's our judgment. It's a fascist or a communist collective, we, that you are part of and I am part of, without our decision. And it continues, turns our strength, so our together strength, against us. So it turns against us. There's an attack there. If we let it, if we let them attack us, if we let them attack us. So you've got a creation of some other people and us being attacked, which is a traditional method used to get people to go to war. If we hop over to the right, we can see a question, what can be done about terrorist attacks? So here you've got the negative situation, you've got the problem. Here is a question about how to solve the problem. Typical in advertising, for example, you can see a picture of someone going, oh, and a question, do you have a headache? Then the answer, take our medicine. So what is the medicine for Australia's headache at the moment? Australia needs to upgrade security measures. So once again, needs to. Once again, this strong language. Once again, Australia needs to. According to Israeli counter-terrorist expert. Very important, the word expert there. It means that we should listen to this person when they're giving us the solution. Civilians should raise their awareness as first line of defense. So once again, this war motto, first line of defense, and it's backed up by this picture here. You can see the police and the police with a machine gun really looking like soldiers, not very different from the man over the left here. Okay, let's come back to the Xinhua news. This is the first picture as we saw. What's the second picture there? It's the G20, the world's 20 leaders of the 20 biggest economies, I should say. Third one there are the BRIC ones. You've got Brazil, India, Russia, China, and South Africa. The presidents for these countries also very important. The Chinese president's there. It's the Chinese newspaper. It's important for them. Next one there, the Chinese president meeting the president of Turkey, who's hosting the summit. So he's obviously important here. A picture from yesterday. More information about the G20. Some other story. Some horses in Egypt. Very interesting stuff. And then the Paris tragedies, because it's obviously very important news. But as you can see, there's a completely different focus when we look at words in the Chinese news here and words in the Western news. Let's finish with the BBC. It's, the Xinhua is like the Chinese BBC. There it is, the English Xinhua news agency. French police hunt attacks suspects. So there he is in the background. Paris attacks, Paris gunmen, attacks impact refugees, more problems in Europe. Islamic State, more problems. And interesting enough, if we come down here, we see an article that isn't about the terrorists. It's about Russia and Syria, but once again, increasing refugees. So in the Chinese newspaper, we did see a picture of the president of Russia. There he is. Very positive image of the president of Russia. Very positive image of the president of China. And interesting enough, it's quite funny. That's a very positive image. It's quite similar. But they've waited until they've got the Arabic in the background, obviously to associate him with terrorism, and South Korea. But maybe people don't really know that much about South Korea and whether or not it's the bad one or the good one. So I'll leave you with those two different pictures. Both of them quite positive, but one of them with a negative headline, and the other one with an overall positive headline.